the previous people you had in the episodes, I know they probably talked about some really messed up things. They made jokes over their lives, really dark stuff. And again, I can't stress enough. Nothing is worse than being slightly overweight. I gained weight, and it is just you're mad at everybody else for this problem and not fixing it, or you're the only one that really can do anything about it. And then if anyone judges you for your weight, you're like, well, you don't get how hard it is to not make choices to help make myself better. There are people with like obesity issues that are like outside their control. Sure, I don't want to negate that. I know I've kind of been doing for a bit, exaggerating some of this stuff, but like there are like I'm not. Again, like you said, I don't have any severe health issues or anything like that. I take heart medicine all the time, and I breathe weird, and I standing up is tough. Like standing up is getting tougher all the time. I'm very strong. You're welcome. I could lift this whole podcast.
I'm carrying this.
I've been doing it this whole time.
But you can't laugh at that.
Welcome to You Can't Laugh at That, the podcast where we take topics you can't laugh at and we find ways to laugh at them in the never-ending quest to prove that what, Steve?
Hey, kids.
You're supposed to finish it.
That you can laugh at that.
All right. And podcast. That's how we end the podcast.
Perfect. Stamps.com.
Don't signal a fastball and then throw a curve at me. All right?
Hey, I'm not the Houston Astros. You know, I'll switch up my pitches. And joining us on the podcast today is the very funny Indianapolis-based comedian Joe Bates. He is a writer for Bob and Tom. He has his own podcast called Rank You Very Much, and he's performed at comedy festivals across the country. How's it going in Indy right now, Joe?
Everything's going well in Indianapolis. You know, the comedy clubs are dying. Shows are hard to do outdoors during the winter, and I'm slowly writing less and less. So I think it's going pretty good, David.
Sounds like, hey, you're an entrepreneur. It's a tough game.
Yeah.
It's about the journey, not the destination. Or whatever.
I hope so.
Yeah. And you have an album that's coming out pretty soon.
I do. I have an album coming out January 22nd. It's called Joe Bates by Joe Bates. It's very self-titled. And yeah, it should be really good. Going to On Tour Records down in Kentucky, or a good record company. They worked really well with me. And I think the pre-sale link for will come out January 8th, Friday, January 8th. So yeah, should be good. I'm excited about it. Recorded down in Houston.
So. Congratulations, man.
Thank you so much, man.
It's been about a year
lifelong dream.
Yeah. Hey, get the
when
first one out.
I was a kid, I wanted my name in lights, and this is as close as I got. It's a name on an album.
Well, I mean, if you make enough money with your fancy job, then you could maybe buy some billboard space on 71 past the Hell is Real sign.
Yeah.
Or like one of those like this is one of those aborted baby billboards, and then
yeah, one side says Hell is Real and the other side says Joe Bates is real. That's the key. Is the predicate and the subjective.
Well, after you're on this podcast, I can guarantee your name will be up in lights. That's
oh, perfect. Thank you. I didn't know you had a neon guy, but that's
yeah.
cool.
Well, we're a springboard to success. That's how we.
Nice, dude. I springboards are great, but I'm still gonna just ram right into the pommel horse. So I don't know. Thanks for getting me in the air, and I just lost my air out of my lungs. Okay, yeah, but so guys, why are you on my podcast today?
I thought I was high.
Yeah.
Oh no, I don't do this stuff. This is just life, baby.
This is Joe Bates. Joe Bates.
Bye.
So, kind of take us through the process of the recording the album, just out of curiosity. You know, when did you decide? Oh, this is like I have the material for an hour. Let's put it together on and let it live in infamy.
I've been doing it for about 7 years, stand-up comedy. And I had one of the few times that social media actually works out for the better, where I made a post where I was like, man, I've been doing it for 7 years. I know people have been doing it as long as me. They have 2 albums. I really want to do an album, but here are all my like thoughts and like kind of like anxieties about it where, what if it's not good? Obviously, what if it's really good? Then I feel like I'm a kind of like, I can't follow it or whatever. And it's not, and then my biggest fear is like, it's not going to be perfect, so then why would I ever do it? Because it's never going to be perfect. And I just had a couple really good friends reach out to me. It's like, it doesn't matter. Like, it really doesn't do anything. It's just something, if you want to do it, you just do it. And that was a good step. And like, at least in general, my career is like, if you want to do something, just do it. Whereas, and you guys do comedy and everything, you're constantly thinking, is this what people want? Like, is this what I'm supposed to do? Or, I don't know what the rules are. What stairway do I walk up to? But I did it and it worked out really well. I was at Limestone Comedy Festival in Bloomington. I met Ross Duncliffe of On Tour Records. He was like, we love your stuff. I heard you want to do an album. We'd love to do it with you. It's perfect. Then I ended up booking it through Houston, Texas, where I started a long time ago with the Secret Group. I think this is the only album they've recorded there, so it'll be the first one. And the place I recorded is now turned into a restaurant thanks to COVID. So I kill a lot of things. But we finished it. It's going to be sent out, and I listened to it recently, and I didn't hate it, which is a good sign that it's probably pretty good. There's sketch involved. There's like character stuff. It's a lot of how I've always kind of envisioned being a little bit off kilter with it. So it's nice.
Very good. Yeah. And this is actually going to be the last episode of the podcast too. So it's just right in line with your brand, huh?
Yeah, the first club I ever worked at, that closed down. First club I ever featured at, that closed down. Wiley's is still around, so that's nice. Yeah. But a lot of places. I was on NBC CISO, which is true. I had 2 clips on NBC CISO. That's gone. Trial by Laughter, I made the finals. That doesn't exist anymore. But yeah, no, your podcast will be fine.
Yeah, we're growing. We're still a young boy of only 1 year. So
that's what a nice boy you are.
Yeah, I've heard this. Any comic we have on and we'll play like a track from their album, they'll kind of look back at it and be like, ugh, like I can't say I'm listening to that. Which is like it's a good thing though, because it's like this is a benchmark. This is how much I've progressed since then. And at the very least, like an album will show you how you've grown as a performer as your career continues to progress. So you can kind of look back. Well,
that is, yeah, because on the album itself, like the first half is jokes that are older of mine, and the second half is more newer jokes in the last like couple of years of what I've written. And I enjoy that transition to these different style of jokes, which I think that the jokes we're talking about is more of the newer jokes that I've made, and obviously because I'm getting fatter, but it is that you even like within the hour you can kind of see how you've evolved over the length of your career and everything. And it was nice too because afterwards I was going to Chicago a lot and I was doing bits on the album right after I recorded it, and it felt weird. And I was like, I hate doing this. And then COVID hit, and I've gotten to take a break, and that's the best. So if you record an album, Steven, producer, I recommend having a pandemic happen right afterwards so you can take a break and relax. So if you can, I don't know.
That is nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is really nice.
I'll make sure to go to a wet market. Everybody. Yeah. Record album, go to wet market, unleash hell.
Yeah, let's just unleash it. Just go crazy. Have a good time. What's the worst that's gonna happen,
Right. It's easy to kind of look back at old stuff and or look at stuff that you're about to do, like projects that you're about to do. I get in my own head too. It's just a matter, just do it. Just do it. It's done. Like, get it out there. But there's that insecurity, and that's what takes us to today's topic, being overweight, which. Yeah, I'm trying to get better at segues. I think that was pretty solid there.
Yeah, dude, you self-balanced that the whole way.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you. I'm looking for encouragement. I fish for compliments. Every time I do a transition, I'm like, oh, I'm trying to get better at that. How was that?
Yeah. I mean, I've seen stand up.
Yeah. All right. Do you want to introduce your clip?
I feel like which are you, Jimmy Kimmel? Yeah, this next clip I'll tell you is a very interesting clip. I was going on a romantic vacation with my then girlfriend, now ex-girlfriend, out to beautiful Napa Valley, Northern California, wine country. And she wanted to go horseback riding, and I tried to book a trip. And well, you know what? I'll let the clip tell the rest.
All right, let's do that. This is Joe Bates from the Flyover Comedy Festival.
But it's attacking my ego dating her. She wanted to go horseback riding in Napa Valley, west of here. And she wanted to do this. I'm romantic, so I go, I'll do it, babe. I went on the website for horseback riding, and I found out you have to be under 210 pounds to ride a horse. I found out I am too fat to ride a horse. Some of you just found out you also are too fat. There's no way, man. I told the place on a huff and go, hey, man, I was on your website. There's a typo. Says 210, should be 500. We both know that. There's no way I'm 240. I'm not well. But when I leave the house, I use the door. Don't cut a wall down. So why don't you give me a horse, you know? The guy goes, yeah, you're too fat. But we got a mule. Fuck you, buddy. Mule? I'm not muling in that. I'm not muling in wine country, okay? I want to be a knight in shining armor on a horse, not a Sancho Panza sidekick on a burro, okay? I'm a real boy. I want a real horse. That's what I want. And she wants to go, so I'm going to the gym. I have a trainer. I have a trainer. He goes, "What's your goal weight?" I go, "Horse." You know. Is she too fat to ride a horse? I go, I'm as shocked as you are, man. And he goes, why don't you lie? Which is not a good trainer, okay? That's not. That guy looked at me and said he can't lose 30 pounds a week and work on a poker face. That's what we can work on. I don't want to lie. I don't want to lie to her. I don't want to fly out there and lie to them. Not because I'm above lying. I lie all the time. Because I'm worried that if I lie to them, they're going to bring out the scale. And I got to get on this thing and watch this giant arrow slowly, sadly increase past 210 pounds and land on mule, okay? I can't.
That was pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I already watched it.
Take us.
Thanks, Steven. You want me to take you through the bit?
Yeah. When did you?
Very
when was the moment
concept.
you realized it was funny?
When I thought it was funny. So I was booking a trip to Napa Valley. This is true. And I was trying to book a horseback riding thing because I thought that'd be a romantic thing with the girl I was dating at the time, who every vacation we went on, we broke up. So I figured, let's do an expensive one. Let's make it. Let's break up 3 or 4 more times. So we go to the horseback thing, and I go on the website, as it's tough to tell the story without doing the joke lines.
Yeah,
because I'm like, this is the story, and it said 210 pounds, and I just stared at that because I had not been at a moment in my life where I had to realize that I am not good. I need to. So I went on stage that night and I just spent the entire 5 minutes just ranting about this horse thing, and recording it and then going, okay, that felt really good. The audience paid attention. They were laughing at a few notes. And it took like 6 months to 10 months to really kind of figure out the beats of the joke. And then probably like another 6 months to get like the exact wording and physicality of it. And even like, I don't like when I do stand up, my big thing is to make it seem I'm all over the place constantly trying to change subjects and topics, so it seems like everything is like in the moment, where it's not. It's all a very big act that works. They work too hard to make it seem like I'm very manic. So like even the stuttering is like I'm doing that on purpose to see like I'm so mad, and once you get that kind of like, you figure out how to take that anger from the moment and show that anger to the audience in a real way. When I started doing that, I was like, okay, boom, I got it. This joke works really well now, and I'm dealing with me getting fat. And now I'm like, oh fuck, I got a fat joke now. I don't want to lose weight. Which is what I told myself, instead of just that I'm very lazy.
Yeah, just write jokes about it, and then it's fine.
Yeah, it's totally. Oh yeah, no, that's a really good joke about being unkempt.
I guess this is me now.
But yeah, it took a while though, because figuring out the order too, like the scale was in the middle of the joke for a long period of time, until I just accepted that was the biggest laugh I was getting. I had a bunch of other stuff afterwards that just wasn't working, and I tried to make it a closer, and I tried to have this thing like, I would tell her, I was like, I finally break to her. I go, look, I can't do it. I'm too fat to ride a horse. And she goes, I'll love you no matter how fat you are. And then I realized, like, she has worse taste than a horse. It was a better version of it.
Yeah.
But the crowd hated it. The crowd never liked it. It was this long, like, sentimental piece of us being together, and then the horse thing, and then the crowd's like, he hates his girlfriend. And never a good closer. But it also doesn't work as a closer either, which is weird. I think the joke is good, but it never really was a big in the moment. But
right. Well, in this case, I mean, it's only like a 5-minute set, so you kind of introduce yourself. You have a couple like one-liners, but you come across like very smug when you start. Is that intentional to balance out the rest of the joke, which a lot of it is kind of laughing at yourself in a way that makes you likable?
We talked about a bit off air about the power moves, which is like a character I would do as a corporate character, and he would build this thing about how over the top he is. My boss shook my hand. He asked me what I wanted for lunch. I said, your job. Boom, I got it. Like, it's just like very just boom, boom, boom. And at the end of the joke, I reveal that I'm unemployed. Like, none of this actually works, And that worked really well. And I love that idea because, one, I like playing narcissistic. Like, I like playing overly cocky. And in my life, I've always kind of been this person. But the comedies that I get my comeuppance are like, at the end of, like, look, guys, I'm not who I'm saying I am. This is all a facade and a lie. So I've always tried to do that with a lot of my jokes, and where I build this, like, right before the joke, I tell everybody I'm a narcissist, a grade A narcissist, which is the best one. And then I can kind of, then I just start chopping away at myself and be more self-deprecating, where it's not sad. It's like, finally, this guy got his. Even though I built the whole guy. Like, I made them already hate me so I can make fun of me.
There are a lot of different ways because nobody wants to hear, how great things are going, right? Nobody wants to hear, like, nobody wants to see you be an asshole and then, like, you win the whole time. That's boring. And
unless you're overcoming alcoholism.
Right. Well,
people are like, well, we can't really hate that. That's good.
But if you're an asshole about it, people are like, I hope he crashes his car. Like,
I hope he never finishes a step.
It falls down the steps. There are so many different ways to do self-depreciating. And this isn't one that we've had a conversation about on the podcast. You make yourself unlikable, and then just pile on the rest of the bit, and it's well played.
You've seen people do self-deprecating, and if you don't do it right, it's like the crowd just feels bad for you, and then there's no comedy at all. Like you've lost everything. So it doesn't even matter what the jokes are good. Like, oh, my dog died, blah, 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 blah. It was rough. That's a good one. But everyone's like, oh, shit, his dog's dead. Fine.
Peter kidnapped my dog and then put it down.
And then there's a lady in the corner going, they do that.
The Napa Valley line, that's just like it's like a throwaway joke, like that's west of here or whatever.
Again, I'm better than everybody on the stage. I'm so cocky, and they're all like, oh, fuck this guy.
Okay.
You gotta point at somebody so everyone thinks you're talking about somebody else and not them. Like it's so stupid where everyone's like, oh, we can laugh at him. Yeah, fuck that guy. I never liked him anyways. He's that guy with a hat.
And it's so like when did you throw that in? What made you throw that line in?
I think that's generally I was just doing that in regular conversation anytime I brought up a location.
Okay.
Already. I just thought it was a funny thing to just tell somebody where something was that they already knew. Just in case they didn't get it.
Yeah.
Like I always thought, like when I was living in California, I would anything I brought up, I go, it's east of here.
Yeah.
Just I don't know. So I was like, oh, that's a good little place to put it. So
yeah. And those are little wins too, because if these are things that you've been doing since before you started doing stand up, or if it's like a little inside joke between you and a friend, just switch up the context and it's funny in a different way to different people.
And it also helps you sound like yourself.
Yeah.
If you do jokes, you do like kind of just to your friends or whatever, and you're able to like kind of instill that in your joke, you sound like an actual person talking instead of a maniac that's like, here is what I think is funny. Do you guys agree with me? This is art.
Yeah. Man, who'd have thought? Authenticity.
Yeah.
Weird.
Well, I only know that because I've never been very authentic my whole life. It's a new concept, so I've really had to work on it. I'm not a sociopath, Steven. I'm not a sociopath.
I've already judged you.
All right. Well, sure. I mean that it is Bateman in the American Psycho, but I don't want to put those together. Norman Bates. Oh my God. There's all so many. Then worry about it. Don't even think about it.
No, you're too straightforward. They would be like, it's just not the same.
Eye contact, nod. That's for the Patreon people to nod. You'll have to pay extra to see that.
Yeah, no, we're not going to include that in the actual podcast. That's the only clip we're gonna. That's the only clip we're gonna use.
In the best of.
Yeah. Yeah. For $5, what does Joe Bates? Is Joe Bates actually?
What is Joe Bates? What is he? I always like going on podcasts because people are like, what's your comedy like? And I go, fuck, I should have prepared for this one.
Right.
It's the most general question you're ever going to get asked. And
I don't like that question.
I don't like listening to podcasts.
I do social commentary.
Yeah.
You heard of Bill Hicks? I'm Bill Hicks, Lenny Bruce, and another third guy.
Can't say anything anymore.
Literally. I'm on mute. With these Zoom mics. Yeah, dude. But no, getting fat's all right. I am a lot fatter, though. And I didn't get fat until I started drinking, which is the problem. I didn't drink till I was 25.
Okay.
And then I didn't realize what that does to you. Because I was like 190 like my whole life up to 25. And then I started drinking. And currently I'm 255.
Oh, up 15 from that clip.
Yeah, well,
from
when the joke started, up 15 from when the joke started.
Yeah. Yeah.
240, very much a funnier number than 255. Too specific, too sad.
Right. Yeah, no, they're like, no, he has to be that way. That's
the best part is afterwards they go, there's no way you're that fat. And I go, thank you.
Yeah. I mean, and you're not like, You're not coming out like you're not coming out like Ralphie May or like Gabriel Iglesias, where it's like, oh, he's going to do fat stuff. You don't.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not a behemoth. I'm tall, which covers everything. That's
how tall are you?
Oh, I'm 8'7". I'm a freak of nature.
All right.
No, I had I'm 6'3", but I did have an uncle. Oh, not an uncle, an ancestor, not an uncle, like older than an uncle. His name was Martin Van Buren Bates, and he was 7'10". And he was a captain for the Civil War, which is the biggest racist anyone's ever known. But he married a woman taller than him, and he's in the record book. My dad just told me that I found he's in the record book for him and his wife having the largest baby ever born at 24 pounds.
That's insane.
What?
You can look it up. Martin Van Buren Bates. He's got his own Wikipedia.
7'10".
24-pound baby. It only lived for 2 days because God will never let that thing kind of live.
Right. That's yeah. That baby would be an X-Men.
That baby would be. Well, a baby is currently an X-Man.
Yeah. It didn't quite get to man, but
yeah, X-baby. X-babies. The stupidest comic we ever made.
Oh man, this is crazy. 7'11".
Oh yeah, his wife was taller.
How did he survive the Civil War? Like, you'd think that'd be the first guy that got shot.
I know. I thought the Unions are horrible, like stormtroopers.
I mean, with those muskets, they weren't super accurate, but
yeah.
Man, that's crazy. There's a crazy. Yeah, look him up on Wikipedia. There's a crazy picture of him just like nonchalantly looking at a camera while a dude looks up at him.
That camera is so far away.
Right. On the other side of the battlefield.
They didn't have the zoom out thing.
Man.
There wasn't a lot of fisheye lenses back then.
Yeah.
He got a statue for his wife. Is the statue shorter than her?
I don't know.
He's the size of a statue, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Drunkenly make out when they go, "You're not my wife. You're a statue of her." We should exist.
Yeah.
You can't talk, Steven?
No, I was saying I'm 5'17", so.
Oh, that's nice. Wait.
You should tell people that so they have
to
really think.
Yeah. 1 more inch and you can vote.
You must be this tall to vote. You must be this light to ride this horse.
Yeah.
So
my brother ended up riding a horse. They actually do the scale thing.
Did they really?
Yeah.
That was my next question.
Whoa.
My brother he lives in South America, and he went to go do a horseback riding thing with his wife, and they brought the scale out. So I made that up.
and it's an actual thing.
Yeah, it was an actual. So I guess I didn't make it up otherwise than just guess.
Yeah.
But that was the other thing. Like, I didn't think I got the point across. I had the physicality of doing this that is a carnival sized scale.
Yeah.
But I looked into it, like, why is it 210? It's like bad for their backs. I was like, is it just this place? And like California and some other places are this is the weight you got to do. But like, I did this joke on like Kentucky. They're like, you can ride a horse here. It doesn't even matter. I was like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
The only other thing is, like, after I did the joke and I started getting success with it, a lot of people told me that Nathan For You, that was the show, right? That was the name.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which is like a great show,
Right.
And I watched it afterwards. He has an episode on that people are too fat to ride a horse, but he ties like balloons to them to do it. So I feel like it's the weirdest parallel thought, because I'm doing a joke about it, and he had a whole show making of a business deal about it. But what are you gonna do? So it is a real thing. I'm not crazy. I don't.
No.
think.
I just didn't. I figured, you came up with a scale thing, like, oh, wouldn't this be silly and like cartoonish? And they're like, wouldn't this be an actual thing that we should do for our business to make sure our horses are healthy?
but it makes sense because people would just lie the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the thing. That was not part of the original joke. It was just something somebody had mentioned, like you would just lie, and I go, "Oh, fuck!" Like I guess she would just lie. I never thought about being a trickster. I'm a good kid, I'm just trying to make it in today's society. Living by the truth.
Nobody in your family should be riding horses.
Yeah. Or horses could be extinct. I know.
You guys are like the anti-jockeys.
Yeah. Yeah.
When everybody's watching the Kentucky Derby, like, I wish this was slower. They bring my family in.
These horses need to slow down. We need to drag this thing out for a half hour.
Seabiscuit's a lot sadder with me because they don't need to put it down. It's just the person sits on them and he's like,
Limp Seabiscuit.
Limp Seabiscuit. Limp Biscuit, Jeremy. We talked about it earlier. The producer for the show, people, you can't see him. He has a picture of Limp Bizkit's lead guitarist, a poster of him behind him.
Biscuits for life, bro. Biscuits for life.
Biscuit heads.
The whole chunk of the bit with the personal trainer too, I really enjoyed that part. Was that like just a character that you created for the gag, or?
Yeah, I mean, really, all that ever happened was I found out I was too fat to ride a horse, and then I just got. I would tell people, whoever asked me how to do jokes or anything, because I'm not the best like writer. Every time I write, it's like I write 8 pages of complicated, convoluted nonsense that never translates. But if you go to a joke and you feel something, it's so much easier to just talk about it because people can recognize the feeling and then they can laugh with that. So for me, if anything makes me angry or confused or anything like that, I just take that and push it on stage, record it, listen to that constantly to figure out what like the big notes are and everything. And just kind of I don't know if you noticed on this podcast, I kind of let my mind race and just keep trying to say what my mind is saying constantly. I'm like, oh, that'll be good. Yeah. Because here's the deal. So many misses I've had so far, and you guys haven't even noticed it because I talked right past it.
Just keep going. You got to keep up with you got to keep up with your brain. I get it.
But
I like marinating in the silence.
Yeah. Well, there's things I just can't say anymore with today's society. Laughing. But yeah, a lot of that, I mean, it's not that it didn't happen. It was just kind of thought process that came from the fact that I couldn't, and I was pissed that I couldn't. But I mean, I just tried to make every excuse I could. But the real issue is that I should lose weight.
Right. Right. And you make the point with the trainer, like your trainer is like, not a good trainer. What's the line that you say? I don't think I wrote it down.
He ever that my line, which is not a good trainer. You're not gonna lose 30 pounds, and we can work on a poker face.
Yeah, that's the line.
The poker face.
Yeah. Again, saying something like, you can say, oh, we can work on lying, or if you find an alternate way to say the same thing,
and there's no alternate way. You have to lie.
Yeah, poker face. The mule thing too. That's real. Did they offer a mule for people who can't ride horses?
No, I originally when I first said the joke on stage, I said mule, and then I did the research to be like, is that the case? But mules actually can take less weight than a horse. A horse is built to do it. Like they really shouldn't have been doing that to the mules when they were like taking them over the border and stuff. They were hurting those animals. But for the drugs, worth it. But no, mules actually can't handle me either. There's really not a lot of like a Clydesdale, like that could handle me. I'm fine with like those guys are good. They're like the Martin Van Buren Bateses of horses.
Yeah.
You're just riding in on a Budweiser like Clydesdale.
I mean, this is a beer gut, and then all they do is beer. They got it. They understand the whole thing,
So the concept of being overweight too, like when did you come to terms with like, oh, this is something that I'm going to be able to joke about, and how did that like play into? Was that the reason for doing the joke?
Yeah, that helps. In like and here's the deal. You probably have a lot of people in the podcast talking about like very difficult parts of their lives that they joke about, very difficult things they've been through. But my life is so perfect and good. And when I became a little bit overweight, it's like all of their things times a million, So I needed an outlet. And but it was like when I was growing up, I was like, okay, well, if I get to 200 pounds, then I'll start figuring my life out, exercising and everything. I got to 200, 210. That's fine. You can get down to 200 pretty easily from there. 220, you can get back to 210, 230. You don't care anymore, Joe. That's what happened. You just don't care anymore. You're just going to live your life and just have as much fun as you want and don't care. And that's what I've done. And now I'm 255. But I did promise myself I'd lose 10 pounds this year. And if I don't, I'll not care. But it is like I'm at the level where it's starting to affect my health. I take like a daily heartburn medicine. I've been taking a heartburn medicine for the last 3 years because I can't eat otherwise. And as the second part of the joke, I have a whole new aspect of my life because apparently I don't know how to breathe anymore. I got too fat to just regularly breathe. And then you meet people that are fatter, and you're like, well, why aren't they dead?
Yeah.
You don't be dead. And then they're like, I'm not as fat as this guy, and he's alive doing coke.
Yeah, work harder, Joe.
Oh my God.
Like, I don't even do coke, and this guy's somehow healthier than me.
Yeah.
But
Biggie, Farley.
Yeah. Did you say Ziggy Farley?
No, not Ziggy Marley. Biggie and Farley. Chris Farley.
Oh, Biggie and Farley.
Or no.
What comedy duo?
What was I thinking of?
Biggie died from being overweight. It wasn't the bullets that got him.
No, I got that confused. I'm like, wait a second. That's not it.
Belushi is the guy you're thinking of. And Horatio Sands.
Oh, yeah. I always get Biggie and Belushi mixed up.
Yeah.
Horatio Sands is svelte now.
Yeah, see? He just had to die once.
Yeah.
Artie Lang, look at him. He's not doing great. He's missing half his nose.
Right.
Yeah. He was so overweight.
Dude, yeah, man. That's what it was. That was his big problem.
It was the cheeseburgers.
Yeah. I don't know what else you'd be talking about. Let's dive into the second half of this bit and bring it home.
Okay.
I'm overweight and had a coke problem.
I love this girl, and I love her so much. She's getting me healthier, which is nice. She's got me in the CPAP machine, which is good. She woke me up in the middle of the night. She goes, "Hey, Joe, can you stop breathing like this?" So I went to the doctor. I said, "Hey, doctor, do I need a CPAP machine?" He goes, "You're fat enough." So I went to the CPAP store, which is run by an idiot, and he's like, "Hey, here's a CPAP machine. You're going to want to use it a minimum 4 to 6 hours a night." And I go, "You mean 4? He goes, "No, 4 to 6, a minimum 4. I go, "But it's minimum." In 4 to 6, the minimum is 4. And he goes, "But on the paper it says a minimum 4 to 6. I go, "But you know what I'm saying?" He goes, "Look, I'm not the fat one here, dude, all right?" So he goes, "Do you have any questions?" I go, "I have a concern. When I was a kid, and this is true, I had a friend who had a CPAP machine. It fell off his face, wrapped around his neck, and killed him. So I told him that, and I go, "Should I worry?" And he goes, "Jesus Christ." Maybe. And I go, "What?" He goes, "Yeah, dude, that's one way it can kill you. Another way is you like put the mask on and get too drunk and throw up in it. You can asphyxiate that way. That's another way it can kill you." I was like, "How many ways can this kill me?" He goes, "A minimum 4 to 6. I go, "Son of a bitch!" All right, I'm Joe Bates. Thank you very much, everybody.
That's a great way to end that set. I like how her getting you healthier means getting a CPAP machine. Like, that's not.
But it is healthier. Like, it is like making me healthier. Like, I'm actually sleeping now. Well, not anymore. The the tube recently got a hole in it, and Lincare is not. If you know any CPAP suppliers, let me tell you, Lincare is the fucking worst. I have been trying to get supplies from them. They'll give you all the supplies, you pay for them. Then I got a hole in my tube, and they're like, no, we deactivated your account. I go, why did you deactivate? And they go, well, we have no idea. No one knows. It just got deactivated. And I call back, and it doesn't matter. This is the last year of my life has been calling the CPAP place, trying to stay alive from breathing. If you guys know who works at Yelp, please tell them to give them low amount of stars.
Have you reviewed them?
I should do that. Yeah, I'm sorry. I haven't been sleeping well in the last couple of months because of this people. But yeah, no, CPAPs. Yeah, no, it is making me healthier, I think, when it works.
What's the company?
Lincare, Lincaare. I don't know why. I don't know why I got possessed by a ghost at that moment. That was weird. Write me letters. No. Sorry, that was uncle. My uncle-ancestor. My ankle.
You should write a review and then post it, like on like your social media and stuff. Like, have fun with it. That could be. Hey,
there was a guy I worked with one time, and he had this like club treated him shitty, and every opener he has like, hey, can you write this really shitty review to this place for me? And I promised I would do it, and I haven't done it in like a year and a half. I'm very lazy. This is how you get overweight, when you promise to do something,
right?
You realize you have all existence to do your promise.
And I think that's where a lot of the humor can come from when you look at this topic. Is like most of the humor, like the jokes, the bits that I've seen on the topic are centered around the action that people take to get there. So it's fertile ground.
It's a very much like, and don't get me wrong, like, I'm lucky to be one of the day walkers of fat people, because I don't look that fat, but I'm fat. I don't have to come out at night. I can go out in the daytime.
Yeah.
But you've seen Blade. Blade 2 is better than Blade 1, I think. So anyways, no, I gained weight, and it is just, you're mad at everybody else for this problem and not fixing it, or you're the only one that really can do anything about it. And then if anyone judges you for your weight, you're like, well, you don't get how hard it is to not make choices to help make myself better. So why don't you relax? All right.
Right. And I feel like that's where a lot of the butt hurtness comes from. Like, because you can't, yeah. I've carefully chose that.
I guess butt hurt's better than ass hurt.
Yeah.
No one ever says, oh, you just ass hurt over that? Uh-oh, someone's rear end is bummed out.
Yeah, someone's balls are sore. That's something totally different. But like, it's
hairy asshole hurt over this whole thing?
Yeah. It's inflamed.
Jesus Christ, David. This is a kid's show.
Yeah. This is. We when YouTube asks when you upload a video, is this for kids? I say emphatically yes.
Gotta keep our audience.
I do want to say, I know there are people with like obesity issues that are like outside their control. Sure, I don't want to negate that. I know I've kind of been doing for a bit, exaggerating some of the stuff, but like there are, like, I'm not, again, like you said, I don't have any severe health issues or anything like that. I take heart medicine all the time, and I breathe weird, and I standing up is tough. Like, standing up is getting tougher all the time. But
wait, you said heartburn medicine, right?
Yeah, omeprazole.
That's not heart medicine.
Heartburn medicine.
Okay. It's like you're like, I'm
No,
fine.
not heart
I can
medicine.
take heart medicine.
Yeah, I mean, I am like
Tums.
within the 5-year mark of getting like cholesterol medicine. I would assume. I do have high blood pressure. You ever? And I think these are I have super strong arms, but I do think I'm very strong. You're welcome. I could lift this whole podcast.
I'm carrying
I've been
this.
doing it this whole time. But you know the things where you put your arm in at the pharmacy and it tells you if you're like okay or
Yeah.
not. I think my arm is too big for it because it's always at like extreme hypertension. But so I
Yeah,
think
I
like,
don't know.
oh no, I'm gonna die because of hypertension. Whatever.
That's not where you should be getting your blood pressure
Yeah.
taken.
Yeah,
Seriously
I guess
though,
that-
doctors will tell you that. Don't those things aren't necessarily accurate. You need a nurse to do it.
And then I go to the doctor and they're like, yeah, no, I mean, it's high, but they always say this, like it's high, but
Yeah.
like just shrug it off. I'm like, if they shrug it off, I don't think I have to care about my health.
Yeah, no, it's the same thing with cholesterol. If it's like high, elevated, but it's not like hot, considered high, then they're like, we'll just work on your diet. They don't go, hey, you gotta like take all this medicine now.
But I started taking, like I said, like a multivitamin now and a daily probiotic and some.
It's good.
Turmeric.
Yeah.
I'm not good with words, you know. Why should I do stand up? But I've been taking those. I think that'll just cure me.
At least you didn't try to say cumin.
Well, what's the issue with that one?
I've been taking cumin.
Coming what?
Coming. Come in a package.
Coming, my butt hurts.
Ness.
But yeah, but I will say, like in the CPAP joke, that conversation happened. Like that guy was saying minimum 4 to 6, and he did not understand what I was saying at all. And I did tell him I did have a friend die who had a CPAP, which is when my dad got on a CPAP. My dad's going to. We share it.
Hey, Dad, can I
It's
borrow
just
yours?
one machine with 2 tubes, and we just stare at each other at night.
It's bonding.
Yeah, it's fatherly son bonding through tubes. But I was always nervous about it when he took it because I thought he would die. Because the only other person I ever knew that had like a breathing machine when they were sleeping, like the tube wrapped around the neck and like choked them to death. Like to the point like where I went over to that friend's house, those friends' younger brother, like, hey, where's your brother? And they're like, he died. And then the mom started crying, and I was like, oh man, this is bad timing on my part.
Yeah. Where's your brother? Wasn't there someone else here?
Yeah. What's his tombstone in the front yard?
Isn't it? It's funny that the thing that they got to help him breathe actually made him stop breathing.
Yeah, you gotta think, man. Those parents can't be handling that well.
Do you think they wrote a review for Lynn Care?
Yeah, let's say Lynn Care killed my friend.
That should be your review. And they killed my friend.
You killed my friend.
Like Jabba the Hutt.
Tubes that weren't so constraining around the neck.
Yeah.
The weirdest part, though, is after they found his body after he died in the breathing machine, was in the breathing machine. He etched "Kilroy was here." God, you're almost too good, Joe. But yeah, no, they got to be ashamed of their choice to put their kid on a life-saving breathing apparatus that killed him. You're right. The parents are at fault. You're right, David Horning. The parents are always at fault when their kid dies.
You crossed the line.
But I have so much confidence and I'm insecure. But I'm pretty good at it, right?
You confident about your insecurity?
Sure, right? Don't you think, guys? I knew it. Yeah, I forgot about that joke. I'll have to write that down. Write that down. No, I'm not gonna write it down. I'll just remember with my huge brain, fat brain.
Is this the writing process right here?
Yeah, honestly, you're watching it, folks. This is how gold gets made. And also, you ever watch what was the show where they dig for gold and they never find it?
Oh,
You'll get it later. I think it was like, there's no gold.
City Slickers?
Yeah.
City Slickers, that's what it was. Dude, Charlie's Gold.
Early's.
No, it was pretty sure it's Charlie.
He won an Academy Award, and you can't even get the name right.
Yeah, well,
He did.
It was Farley's, right?
Shut
Or
up.
was it Biggie? Yeah.
yeah, it was Biggie's Gold.
No.
Yeah. So stupid.
They said that movie was notorious.
Yeah. Moving
All
on.
right, you gotta have faith. Go to the library and tell them Fred Durst sent you.
Oh my God.
Actually, I was just in like researching bits for this episode. I watched a Josh Sneed bit, and he talks about how Pizza Hut like tried to entice kids to read back in the 80s or the 90s. So they would read a book and they get a personal pan pizza for every book that they read.
That's how you just make more nerds.
Tell the library Pizza Hut sent you.
That's pretty funny.
Right. All right. So would you consider, I mean, you're pretty confident in your insecurity. And I think that's like that's a strong suit for a comedian, to be confident in it, like know and accept the insecurity and be confident about it, but not to the point where it's like, oh, that person's an asshole. Like there's a fine line for sure.
Yeah, you gotta. Well, in general, you have to be confident to do stand up.
Mm-hmm.
Even no matter what you're portraying on stage, you still have to be some semblance of confidence to make the whole thing work. But yeah, that is like when I started doing a character that was overly confident, that actually turned the rest of my stand up into a better version of it. Because I took this overconfidence and this kind of layered throughout the rest of my jokes where I had this kind of cockiness, confidence in the joke that used to not have that kind of, just that thin enough layer to make it all kind of make more sense of who I am. And I'm a lunatic. I really, the general is a lunatic that is just desperate for attention and be famous. I meant the thing in lights. I need my name in lights. I'll buy. Luckily, I have a short name, Joe Bates, and I can buy enough light bulbs. But it's the sockets. I don't have enough sockets. That's the problem.
A socket's shaped like Joe Bates.
Just Joe Bates sockets. All right, let's not get crude. All right, DX.
This is born for electricians.
Yeah, this is born for electricians. Clockwise. Yeah, that's how I like
Lefty
them.
Lucy.
Ooh, ligaments, figaments. What is that little thing called? Newtons.
Filaments.
Yeah, it's big Newtons. It's strawberry filled. Apple Newtons are pretty good. Nabisco, the treat for dairy.
Nabisco. Ding.
Nabisco, help. Help me. What does Nabisco have at their headquarters? I don't know. Someone help that poor girl.
There's just somebody who snuck into the audio room, like got out of their their cell, their holding cell at Nabisco.
Get me out of here.
It's just in the background of the commercial.
The Apple Newtons are pretty good, though.
They're only feeding me the Apple Newtons.
Which is what I asked for. It's about 2 stars. This whole kidnapping.
Anyway, confidence.
Yeah.
Um,
That's the stuff. Well, like Steve Martin. Steve Martin's like the king of like overconfidence. Like this whole character is just way too much confidence the entire time, even though he's being absurd and wacky. I love it.
Yeah. This the character. Would you say that doing that character helped you find that voice because you're able to kind of let loose a little bit more and just unleash?
Yeah, dude. I gotta be silly as fuck. One thing about that joke, the CPAP and the for structure wise, I used to do the CPAP joke first before the horse joke. And it wasn't until that set where I flipped it and I realized the CPAP thing was funnier. And also, you have to like slowly reveal that you're fat before you say you're fat.
Right. And the 4 to 6 hours thing, that anger definitely came through. Was that annoying to you in the moment while it was happening, while you're having this conversation with this guy, or
dude,
was it
all
only
the time?
after?
Like, it's what I love about that is because it's one of the few times where I'm super annoyed and like so mad that somebody doesn't get what I'm saying. That's translated to stage. Because usually it's like, why is this guy complaining about the Chase quick deposit picture? No one cares. But this one worked out well, and I had to talk about my friend's death to get it there. So was his death worth it? I mean, it's a pretty good bit.
Yeah.
So
he's immortalized, and pretty
Yeah.
soon he'll be on a comedy album. So
one time, his brother, the guy, the dead kid, the brother of the dead kid, we're using the internet. Before I knew what the internet really was that much, I started with Prodigy, with the dial-up.
yeah.
And he goes, "Hey, dude, you should type in com.com, but spell com cum." And I was like, "That's not how you spell calm." And then I typed it and he giggled. It's just porn. And that was the first time I ever realized the word "cum" was that moment right there. Typing in cum.com was the first time. And his brother's dead, so we were even.
Gotcha.
Gotcha. It wasn't the machine that did it. It was me.
I'm Lynn Care.
I've been Lynn Care this whole time. Oh, really sad. I got a picture with the guy who's dead. Look at it every night. I just Uber around my neck and I go, "I'm gonna see you soon, Peter. I'm gonna see you soon." My girlfriend hates it. But hey, what are you gonna do? COVID's crazy. But yeah, no, you gotta reveal slower to the crowd your deficiency. Sometimes you can just go, boom, this is what it is, and sometimes you're like, let me ease you into what I'm going to talk about for a sec.
Yeah, that's.
I'm sweating. That's how fat I'm sweating on a podcast. I'm just.
We haven't even
really
put you in the hot seat or anything.
Yeah.
I feel like I've been in the hot seat. I don't
We're
know.
asking the
guys.
tough
You guys are-
You
questions.
can't laugh at that.
There are parts of of your set too. It's not like absurd, but just like the giant arrow. I mean, you paint that outside of the box visual just to get people like not really suspend their disbelief, but these are jokes. Like that's a way to do it.
Yeah. And that stuff has to be within like every joke that I do because that's kind of like, if it was up to me, the jokes I would fully do on stage aren't going to make any sense to anybody. So I have to like just let it out a bit because I already know, like, I know what I would like to do, but I also know this isn't what anyone else wants to see right now. So I have to kind of eke it in a little bit, and then eventually I'll get to just a completely nonsense.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you can't hit him with it all at once. It's got to be in doses.
Just between people listening to the podcast, my last track of my album is a minute of silence.
Nice.
It's great.
Is there a reason for that? Is there like a setup?
Yeah, I'm doing an act out.
Okay.
So just a minute long act out on the album. So you can't see it. It doesn't make any sense.
That's
you
funny.
Just hear laughter.
That's good though.
Yeah. It'd be worse if it was just total silence.
I think it'd be better. Because it would just make me laugh. And that's all that ever matters. And I pay my bills, not my fans. Wait, is their money?
Yeah. I wrote a character that he was a mime that came out with an album. and the whole album is just silence. But it has like track titles and like, and you hear movement, like you hear his feet moving, and like occasionally he'll like clap or something. But it's
that's funny.
Yeah,
this is an old joke of mine. This is my impression of a mime really high on drugs. There is no box.
Andy breaks character. Breaks his vow of silence.
Well,
it's not just quiet, it's a vow of silence.
But you know what? The vow of chastity he still keeps, even if he wants to or not.
Yeah, that's what you say. You can't get laid instead of being like, I can't get laid. She's like, no, I took a vow.
I took a vow. It was with my incel culture. We all took a vow together and we high-fived it, and then we all got COVID because we're not supposed to touch. Luckily, we've never been around anybody, especially women. Stop talking, Joe. We're moving on. So, David, next subject.
Yeah, I want to talk a little bit
about. What is the lull you're waiting for?
Yeah, I was just waiting to fill it with meaningful words. We'll throw a little audio cue in there to indicate that we're switching topics.
I tried to give you one earlier.
No, I just
fun.
Yeah.
Thanks, Steven. It's nice to be friending you guys. Want to start a fantasy football league together?
All right, let's talk about the construct of body image.
Geez, tell me when you're going to turn that hard.
No, that's comedy. You got to pull the rug out, man.
Yeah, it's hard to pull the rug out from under me because I'm heavy.
Yeah. That's a good one. No, we're not even going to talk about the construct of body image now because
thanks, David. That's actually what I'm taking all the laughs out of my album and just putting David's voice going, good one. That minute of silence is going to be great. Good one. Good one. Good one. Good one.
I like that.
I have a trainer. He goes, what's your goal weight? I go, horse.
Good one.
Is you too fat to ride a horse? I go, I'm as shocked as you are, man.
Good one.
January 22nd, you get on iTunes, Spotify, Amazon Music. Do iTunes, though, because that'll help me get number one on iTunes, which is something a comic has never done before.
One of these days, and I think it'll be January 22nd.
Yeah, if I think if 30 people buy my album, I can tell everybody I was number one in the world for an hour.
Right? You put that on your credits now.
As long as Weird Al Yankovic doesn't come out with a new album, that's my big fear.
Right, and people are dropping albums secretly, like without any announcement. Just here's my album. So
that
you never
will
know.
Never happen for me.
Yeah,
I will be yelling from the rooftop anytime I do anything.
It's an accomplishment, and it's a cool thing to say. But if people really were to know, like number one comedy album on iTunes is just I got 30 friends to buy it, and I did it. It's like saying, I
was on NBC CISO.
Right. I'm like, you can catch him on YouTube.
And there was as seen on YouTube. I've seen that credit like in a poster multiple times, and I'm like, people gotta know YouTube is like YouTube.
There have been murders on YouTube, so So another thing that we can
let's remember all those murders with a moment of silence now.
Let's get some room tone.
In the eyes of an angel.
Oliver Farland here.
That's long enough.
Yeah.
So the construct of body image.
Yeah, dude.
I mean that's always something that no matter what the topic is, you can always look at the societal construct and like, oh, the things that we tell ourselves about it, the things that, I mean, you see it in advertising all the time, like photoshopping people, just this idea that you have to be a certain way. Now, granted, being healthy is something that everybody, should be. I'll admit, like, I am in the worst shape of my life right now, and I'm well aware of that, and I'm kind of in the same boat as you. It's like, oh, well, next week I'll start getting back into a routine, and then next week comes around, and I'm just like, I'm busy.
All you do every time you get in the routine, your routine is just giving someone money for something you'll never use. That's the routine.
Yeah.
Here's $40. I just want to. I don't know. You can keep the exercising equipment. I'm never going to use it. You can resell it.
Right.
Equipment.
Yeah, I'm going to start a business where I buy gym equipment and then sell it for less.
That's a really good Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, I thought it was Roberto Benigni.
That guy got hung by all the Italian people.
Yeah. No,
they like to do that, don't they?
That's Mussolini, not Roberto
I know.
Benigni.
Yeah.
Come on, play with me.
Okay, well, you had the whole Notorious B.I.G. thing earlier.
Now he's playing up a character where he gets everybody's name wrong.
Yeah.
You're right.
I always turn into a character to say my regular self was a character earlier, and I'm not. Legally, it works.
Oh my God.
But yeah, contract the body image and stuff. Because, like, I'm dating a lady. I don't want to brag. She's the love of my life. Here's a note before I get into that. So this is how fucking weird stand-up is. So the fat horse joke, doing that joke, it's about a thing I did with my ex-girlfriend. But the joke doesn't work when you say it's an ex-girlfriend before you do it. So I just outdated it as just my current girlfriend is the one I did this trip with. I talked to her about it. She's okay. Yeah. But I once performed that joke in front of her family about a trip. I never went with her. And I thought that was totally a normal thing to do. And now, like a complete psycho. They were like, "You never went on a trip with our daughter, did that?" And I go, "Oh no, it's my ex. I just updated. I'm so sorry. I shouldn't. You should tell her to break up with me."
Yeah.
But she's got some a body image issues, and she's always like telling me she needs to lose some weight, and it's tough to hear that from somebody when you weigh 2 times them. Like, when you're twice their size, you're like, fuck. Like, they gotta lose weight.
Yeah.
Shit. Like, I need to cut myself in half. See if that works. I don't know. I'm thinking
it's weird that, I mean, it makes sense because you're always taught to write it to be like closer to you, like the character. Like if you're talking about a cousin, make it a brother, or if you're talking about an ex, make it your current, unless the story is about breaking up or whatever. It's like it's just easier to do it this way.
Mm-hmm. And it doesn't really take away from any of the story. It's just in your own mind. You're like, well, this isn't exactly the truth.
Yeah.
But when you find out you can lie on stage, that's a pretty nice feeling.
Yeah, you even say, you even bring it up in the bit.
You're not lying, you're amending reality.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, Steve.
That's what my lawyer told me to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't afford a lawyer. Look at your hat.
Hey, shut up. This is my hair.
Shut it.
It's the haircut I can't afford.
I didn't realize that was your hair, so I apologize. You have nice hair.
In headphones.
In headphones, yeah.
Not Princess Leia.
And you did the goatee real well and everything.
It's not a goatee.
I hope not. So, but it is like it's such a stupid thing, and I can't tell you. It took me to come up with the word mule because I was doing mule, and then I was like, "Well, is donkey funnier?" And then I had a headliner once go, "Donkey's funnier. It's got the K in it, and the K is a funnier syllable." I was like, "I think mule is funnier," and he goes, "You've seen how the bit goes. You know what I'm saying this right?" And I go, "Oh, okay." I did mule.
Did you ever do it with donkey?
I did do a donkey, but it felt weird. It felt like I was, I don't
wonky.
know.
Yeah.
You ever feel like you're doing a joke, and it's not like it's that easy, but you feel like you feel like a road dog. You know what I mean?
A road dog.
You feel like oh yeah, this is what Western Montana really wants to hear right now. Like this is like I always hate when I feel that way.
Sometimes words are weird. Like donkey just sounds weird to people. I don't know. Sometimes things are distracting. I'm not saying that's what's going on here, but like when you're like, right, like you change words that don't really have a difference, but one just sounds weirder, so you keep it out because it's distracting.
Mm-hmm.
And then you want to or like you're like, well, jackass. You can use the word jackass in multiple ways. Isn't that funny? And I'm like, that's not fun. That's just like,
yeah,
everyone's done that word.
Yeah,
right, yeah.
Yeah,
but like it's distracting for me. I don't think that's necessarily distracting for the audience. Some audiences.
That's just as bad sometimes.
That I would like. Yeah,
Best thing you want to be is distracted. It's the worst. You're like, why did I just say? Well, it's all derailed now because I'm sitting here, thinking about it when I should be speaking.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm saying the words.
A moment.
Well, Joe doesn't know this, but I blank out on stage all the time, right, David?
Mm-hmm.
Because when I get distracted, I'm like, what?
Yeah. Word choice is important because.
Yeah, David. Word choice.
Yeah. The construct. But no, word choice is important.
Word choice.
Because anytime, you say a word, like people are subconsciously like playing out the script of like what that word means to them, whether they know it or not. And so if you can avoid creating an unnecessary like inner dialogue with a word. So donkey, like you say donkey, my brain goes to Shrek every time.
You said it like New Jersey. You're like donkey.
I know. I noticed it.
Hey, you got a donkey over here.
Oh, looks like we got a couple donkeys over here.
Bust the cash backs.
All right, donkeys, take off your shirt. Stay a while, donkey.
I said donkey like New Jersey, but I said the other one. I said it like Chicago.
Yeah, yeah.
Cash backs.
So is that
the construct of word choice and word image really is tough because what we see ourselves written is when I do stand up, I feel like I need to make it a little bit harder on myself. Not that I'm so good that it's so easy to do. That's not what I mean. Just like this feels like an easy way for this joke, which makes it feel not unique kind of thing. Like everyone would say this word or everyone would do this bit that way or like anytime I feel that way I get like I shake a little, like my spine feels bad, which could just be the weight of my entire body.
Do you adjust when you feel that way? Like, do you change something?
I think if I'm on stage and I'm doing something and I feel that, I will stop and I'll start commenting on how I'm feeling at that moment. Because it's hard for me to just go to the next thing. Because I felt what I just felt for what I just said.
Audiences appreciate that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
it depends which audiences. Some audiences are like, it was fine.
Right, yeah.
Like, then I'm like, fuck you, buddy. You're the problem, not me. I've never been a problem. Everyone likes me. I have a lot of friends. Check out my Facebook. But no, it is like, it's just, I don't know. It's like one time when I was young, my brother was like, you'd want to do anything to be on TV, Joe. You'd wear a diaper to be on TV. And I always thought, I wouldn't wear a diaper. I want to be an adult.
Would you wear a diaper to be on TV?
You wear a diaper to a talent show.
I would wear it, of course.
Just shit your pants, and that's the talent.
And where is it? Didn't fall out of my pants like this time, did it?
Sammy, wow. That's the second time I've done brand placement.
Yeah.
We need to get sponsors.
I do have a pull-ups joke on the album. I recommend listening to it. It's almost too good. I think it actually is the darkest joke I have on the album about pull-ups. So why don't you check it out? January 22nd, iTunes, Spotify. Please prefer iTunes. Number one on iTunes. We talked about that earlier. David, the construct.
The construct.
I was just going to go back to what you were saying about like commenting on how you're feeling because there are times when I'm on stage where I kind of feel like a fraud. Like if a joke,
it's because you are a fraud, David.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, but sometimes I feel like one when I'm not, and that's very rare.
Sorry, I mean to derail.
Two frauds don't make it right.
Yeah. But sometimes, and I've seen this, commenting on it, it might not go over as well with the audience, but it at least brings you into a place of presence while you're on stage.
Exactly.
Whereas like repeating the same thing the same way you've said it over and over again. That's what I mean by like feeling like a fraud. Because you're not as much in the moment.
With confidence. And that's confidence right there that does that. Because the first 4 years of stand-up that I did was just utter dog shit. Like I had jokes or whatever, but I was going on. I was like, you know what I'll do? I'll be like a real sad monotone guy and I'll deliver the jokes that way. Or I'll go up and I'll deliver the jokes this way. And I never was like real or anything. I was doing characters constantly. But now that I can be like in the moment of like, okay, I need to just, this is what I think right now. And it's fine because I've learned I've learned stage presence enough that I can get away with just, I don't want to say riffing because I don't like crowd work because I don't really like doing that stuff. But the idea of just kind of taking yourself out of performance.
Confidence. I want to kind of make that connection between being confident on stage and being confident in, your insecurities and body image and all that. Like the things that we do to hide or to distract from the fact that like we're out of shape or overweight or whatever. That in itself is funny. Like the little things, like kind of like covering up like part of your body when you're having a conversation with somebody, or like, wearing a jacket or something over a shirt that's a little bit tighter. Like, I mean, those are things they're little silly things that we do. But here's the thing. Nobody gives a fuck about you. Like,
Exactly. I struggle with that every day because I'm on a podcast to promote my album, and you just told me that.
Yeah. Nobody gives a fuck about you, Joe.
I know. That's the problem. And that's like the issue, like insecurity and narcissism, because like I don't have to get better because I'm perfect. But I know I need to get better. But even without getting better, I'm still better. Like it's a crazy thing, and it keeps fighting each other, and all it does is a standstill where I don't get better, and then weight. I don't really. Weight isn't actually like. I don't want to say like body image for me. I don't necessarily care what other people view my body. That's never really an issue. It's been more like, okay, Joe, it's time to like get your shit together. Like this isn't. I'm the biggest ever. I'm the heaviest I ever have been, and I'm like this. You can't keep going this direction because then you're gonna be the guys I was making fun of earlier. And no one wants to be who you're making fun of. When I first moved to Indianapolis, I used to make fun of a guy because he was pear-shaped, and he's a good friend of mine, a really good friend. I made fun of him being pear-shaped, and he lost like all his weight, and I gained all the weight he lost, and. Luckily, he's just a really nice guy and hasn't said anything yet. But when he puts the connection together, man, I'm gonna have to move.
He's gonna listen to this episode. That's it. This is your cue to get to New York.
Yeah, we'll see if he cares about me.
Yeah,
listens to every podcast.
I give a fuck about you.
I listen to your podcast, fatty. Hey.
But that's the thing is like. People are so worried about themselves that, even if they do notice something about you, it's not going to like change how they feel about you if you're a decent person. And if you're somebody, if if somebody actually does like look at you and think, oh, well, they're letting themselves go, I can't spend time around them anymore. It's like, that's not the kind of person you want to be around.
Agreed. But I mean, you know, I don't know the Cleveland scene that well, and I'm not asking for any names or anything. But you
Chad
know,
Zumach.
Continue.
Can I talk off the air about that guy?
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Okay, off air.
Not Patreon either.
Yeah, not Patreon. Sorry, Patreon people. You'll have to just meet him. He doesn't even know who I am, that guy. But anyways,
Good. Yeah,
but you know people who are always about their image and stand up and everything, and that's all they care about is what people think about them, how they view them, how they're being viewed. Now, if something happens to them because their whole life is how they're viewed, yeah, that does affect them because that they've never built any actual personality or anything outside that, just this character they developed in their whole world. But if you have any substance or any ability to have like an actual friend, like talk to somebody, then like it doesn't really matter, you know, what you look like or you know how you're holding your life together, unless you're addicted to drugs and alcohol, then maybe.
right.
And that's what this podcast is really about. Uncle Ancestor, Martin Van Buren, you're a racist and a drunk. And you need to get your life together and stop having 24-pound kids that die 2 days later. You know they're not going to live.
Right. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result.
Yeah. Oh, wait, are you talking about me?
I'm actually
this whole time. No, I know. The guy having giant children with his wife. They had two. They didn't. Neither of them made a week. Because God.
Infanticide. That you can laugh at that.
Yeah. Because it's a funny word.
Yeah.
Infanticide. It sounds so like I like the word.
It's
terrible
like,
concept. I like
grass stains in the jeans. Have you thought of infanticide? Folks, Joe Bates here. I just want a quick message to my audience. I don't approve of infanticide, nor do I approve of my Confederate war general, uncle-ancestor, nor have I approved of any of the fat jokes these two have made so far in this episode, as I find it rude, crude, and a little bit lewd.
You crossed the line.
So we can narrow down what's funny about being overweight. You know, what are ways people can find the humor in that? And you start by kind of attacking your own ego in the bit, and then you have the whole story where you're like, it's kind of ridiculous. I mean, it makes sense that there's weight limit on a horse, but that's not something that people think about too often. So,
because it's like. It's not like I need to cut a wall down when I leave the house.
Yeah,
It's like I said in the joke. It's like I didn't know I was fat until you told me I was too fat for an animal. Like that's crazy.
Yeah.
Then you have to acknowledge it. It sucks.
Yeah. Yeah, but you're very brave.
Yes.
And again, the previous people you had in the episodes, I know. They probably talked about some really messed up things. They made jokes over their lives, really dark stuff. And again, I can't stress this enough. Nothing is worse than being slightly overweight.
If you could give advice to a comic that's working on a bit about their weight, how would you help them find the funny in that? What advice would you give?
First, shake them violently. I go, you steal my bit, I will kill you, and you will never work on this town again. But the thing is, like I said earlier, it's about conveying the feeling. So you have to do stand up for a while to figure out how to write, to figure out what joke's going to work, the kind of your own personal timing, how to do that. And eventually you get that. But if you're there and you're trying to work on new topics, the key to like making a topic stick with an audience is conveying the feeling you have, because then they can relate to that feeling. And then they go, oh, yeah, he's angry. I would be angry too in that situation. Oh, he's frustrated with his own life. I would also, like, it's just, you have to relay that. Most of mine is anger and frustration. That's why I keep saying that. But some people can use other feelings that are out there in the spectrum of feelings, I guess. I always thought it was just those two.
Mhm.
But I feel like that's the key is like, what does your being overweightness make you feel? And what are events or, I never tell anybody how to actually, what kind of genre of style of joke they should say, just more. How do you convey that to an audience and what medium is the best way to portray that? That's usually what I say. And then get on stage as much as possible. Just the generic advice that everyone should understand.
I think, that's advice that can apply. It doesn't even have to be just this topic. It can be, you can go through any of your jokes and look at it and say, what feeling am I trying to convey? Number one, it can improve the joke and it can help your connection with the audience. Number two, that it'll bring you more into the moment if you can actually feel that feeling every time you deliver the joke. And number three, you can discover things from old material that may have felt stale or like wasn't hitting, where, if you attach a new feeling to it, it can, like, you can add new tags, you can take a whole new angle on it. It can become fresh material, and you can take something that didn't work before and really, really transform it into something cool.
And then you could play off that and do like the opposite feeling and try to see how that would look in the same joke and try to like use that juxtaposition kind of thing, which I'm not good at yet, but I see people do it. They seem to be pretty good. So
yeah. I forgot to do that last night because I was hosting at Hilarities this weekend, and I was just like,
brag much?
Yeah,
I was gonna do the same thing, and you did it first.
No, that's not the point.
Ooh,
the point was,
that's what I was gonna do.
Yeah.
Ooh,
well, it had been 2 months since I've been on stage. Number one, and number two, like as a host, that your job is
different. You have to be on stage to get hosting work.
Yeah. Right.
I'm joking. You're very funny.
Yeah, thanks. But I didn't feel it, and mostly because I was trying to, shake off the rust. I was trying to do my job as a host and, get the audience on board with the show. And, there's a whole bit where I talk about how I'm optimistic about, technology in the future, like while everyone else is so negative about it. And I didn't really feel that while I was performing it. And in hindsight, like listening back to it, it's like, oh, that's why I didn't get the laughs that I usually get on that material. So,
Yeah.
Think back to the last time that you bombed anyone who's listening, and think about
in a robot
time
costume.
How you can. What's that? And
in a robot costume.
Yeah, you didn't. You weren't conveying the feeling of the robot.
Yeah, it is a really weird album. I'm really proud of it, and I didn't think I would be. I was so nervous about everything would go, but it ended up turning out exactly the way I wanted it to, and it was nice.
If you could give somebody who's struggling with their image a way to laugh at that, because to me, being able to laugh at my own shortcomings has helped me get past them, or at least cope with them and figure out what to do next. What is funny? Why can't you laugh at being overweight?
You need time to process whatever thing is bothering you, then make jokes about it. I feel like that's a big thing in the middle that people forget about. Like, oh, I'm using comedy as therapy. You need to do the therapy first, and then you can do the comedy part. I feel like.
Yeah. Otherwise, people are just like, I think he's broken.
Yeah, I don't want to go on stage like, guys, I'm too fat to ride a horse. And like my girlfriend and me are gonna break up. Help. Help me.
She's here, and we're gonna break up tonight. Like,
yeah. What's sadder, a breakup at an open mic or a proposal at an open mic? Because I've seen both, and I think it's the proposal.
It's 100% the proposal. Oh my god. Oh no.
Yeah. It's gross.
Is that one of those things where it's like,
what about a proposal at the beginning of the open mic, and they all stay and watch the rest of it? Because that's what I saw.
Oh no. I've seen proposals at some pretty cool places. I worked at Olive Garden when I was in college, and someone got proposed to at Olive Garden, and I was like, "This is peak. Like, the chairs are on wheels here."
They bake the ring into a breadstick.
Did you hand him a basket and go never-ending divorces?
Too soon.
All right, Joe. Anything you want to plug? Anything in particular that?
Thanks, man. I've been waiting to plug this the whole time. I have an album coming out January 22nd. Joe Bates by Joe Bates with On Tour Records. It'll be released on iTunes, Amazon Music, Spotify, wherever you can buy albums. iTunes preferred. I want to be number one on iTunes very much so I can be the only comic that I've done it before somewhere. But I also have a podcast that season 1 is already out there called Entertainment Federation Wrestling. It's a fake wrestling promotion show where me and my two buddies are announcers. We have like mat noises and we are announcing a fake wrestling show. It's like we do the voices for the wrestlers. We have a tag team that's a father-son tag team, but the dad never shows up. And it is 9 episodes. It's all on YouTube and Spotify, iTunes, and I'm so proud of it. And not enough people, I think, have heard it because my buddy who did all the audio work did an amazing job. But yeah, it has whole story arcs and everything that go through the whole season and everything. So I would check that out. Entertainment Federation Wrestling. And then you can see me on Twitter and Instagram at Joe Bates Comedy.
All right, Joe Bates. Thanks for joining the podcast.
Yeah.
Steve, anything from you? any closing points you want to make?
I've had a lot of fun. I thought Joe was really funny. And he's like a lot of the comics. I would say you're like top 5 or top 10 out of more than 50 people we've done.
You know, we're on a quest to prove that anything can be funny, and no matter, you got to be confident. We've talked about that. And you've got to lean into your feelings and convey those feelings with other people. Lean into your feelings and prove that you can laugh at that. Special thanks to Golden Ox Studio. You can find Golden Ox Studio for all your podcasting needs at goldenoxstudio.com. Hit up Jeremy. He is fantastic to work with, a professional. He makes podcasting easy. And if you've been kicking the tires on starting your own podcast, definitely give Golden Ox Studio a look.
If you'd like to weigh in on today's topic, follow us on Twitter at YouCan'tLaughPod, or like us on Facebook at You Can't Laugh at That, and tell us how you did laugh at today's topic or how you didn't. This is all about the conversation, is what I'm saying. All right. Bye.